We are now recording, and it is about 6 after. So Scott, if you wanted to start us off.
All right, well, welcome everyone to the Betz Family Camp. First timers meeting, informational meeting. This is just a way to try to communicate some of the things you're going to be experiencing at family camp this summer. And our theme is Jungle Safari. So what you're looking at is what is going to be our logo you'll have on your shirt this year. So Kevin, I'm going to have you do the first few slides here. If you don't mind.
No problem. So it is a lot to read, but in short, we do have a mission statement for our family camp. In a vision, we want to make sure that we introduce camping and the outdoor activities to the Cub Scouts and their families, not only encourage the youth to stay along with the program when the Scouts BSA time comes, but also to make sure the parents are comfortable with the outdoor program. We are not an advancement-based opportunity, but we do provide fun activities that are scouting related throughout the whole weekend. Most of you should have gotten this either through the email or through a Facebook post, or maybe someone referring to you here, but we have our 5 sessions this year, from the July 7th through August 4th. We are currently at capacity, trying to finalize the last little bit of wait lists. So if you are someone who has not signed up yet or haven't got a confirmation because you're waitlisted or in progress, please let me know in the chat, and maybe we can round with you at the end of this meeting. But other than that, we are now at capacity. So unfortunately, it's a good thing to be full. But we are talking about next year. We're going to have at least 5. We'll see what we can do. But for now, we have our 5 full sessions. We run on Chicago time. I know there's been some confusion over the years on it. Phones do change nowadays, but bodies don't. So currently Camp Betz runs on Central Time. So all times for check-in, everything you'll see here today, or it's in the family guide, all those times are Central Time as you leave Chicagoland's area. When we check in, each person is going to need to bring, either through them or their unit, their own personal A, B1, and B2 health form and a copy of their insurance card front and back. This includes all youth participants, siblings that are free, and adults attending. We may want to think that we as adults are infallible, but if something happens, we want to be able to tell the emergency personnel, if we need it, if there's anything noteworthy on your insurance health forms. We will not be providing a meal Saturday or Friday night when you check in. That is the only meal not covered. So please eat before you arrive. There will be some snacks during our movie time, or you're more than welcome to bring something up to camp. I know some units coordinate dinner or food, but we will not be providing dinner that night. And I think, so our program works by group. So if you're coming up with a unit, we are doing our best to make sure you stay with your unit. We might have to split your unit up for size, but you will not be alone. Your camping assignments and your color group assignments for program are going to be with other scouters, even if you come up as an individual family. So we have 6 assigned color groups that are themed this year for our animals. During the day, your group will move around between their 6 activity areas, 3 in the morning, then we're at 3 in the afternoon. You are expected to stay with your group and work with your scouts. This is family camp. We have volunteers. We are all volunteers, from Scott, myself, and Sean, all the way down to our youth staff. But sometimes we would like to, there's only so many hands to go around in activities. So parents, we appreciate you stepping up and working with your scouts and your siblings. It does make for a fun time. When we depart, remember, a scout is clean. During the whole weekend, we do expect you guys to be conservation minded and consider it in the outdoors, part of our outdoor code. And part of Leave No Trace is to leave it cleaner than you found it. You said you will be in, that includes not only the program areas, but your camping areas and other places as well. If you see something, pick it up, throw it away for us. We appreciate it. So there's a couple things we do for safety. We do a check-in with a ribbon or a band. We also provide you guys a camp shirt. If you're wearing a camp shirt, we know you're supposed to be here. If I see someone without a camp shirt walking around, I'm going to ask them, can I help you, sir or ma'am? It's an easy way of identifying whether or not people should be on campus. We are a private camp, but we do not have barbed wire fences keeping everyone out. So occasionally there are people who wander around, and we want to make sure that they're appropriate to be here. That's also a reason why we ask you not to venture off on your own at camp. We do follow the buddy system, and buddies can be your parents. We want to make sure that no scout is by themselves going from location to location. Sometimes parents need to run back to the tents or to do something to handle a sibling or something else. We understand, but being around our program areas, we do provide for time and breaks in between to be able to utilize bathroom breaks and other things as well. But we ask that you stay around our camp in our areas. We ask that you guys have your hard-soled foot protection, basically not Crocs and flip-flops at waterfront, because those tend to float and they tend to float away. But we want to make sure that you guys are safe. We do have a open waterfront that is open to the lake. Occasionally people do come by and fish across there, and despite our best efforts to use magnets and our eyes to make sure everything is clean and safe, there's this chance that there may be something we miss. We want to make sure that no one's feet have any issues down at waterfront. We'll also be talking about other things at our safety briefing on Friday night.
All right, I'm gonna take over this next slide here about what you should be bringing. So we have kind of two lists here. First one is what you should be bringing per person. And some of this is very obvious. A sleeping bag. If it's going to be 95, you might be sleeping on top of it, but that's okay. A sleeping pad for comfort or cot. A towel, like a beach towel, when you go down to the waterfront, or use one of our awesome showers at Peace Pony. Clothes for 3 days. You'll be wearing your camp shirt on Saturday, but obviously clothes for other days. Swimwear, including the required swim shoes. Don't forget extra socks, because dry feet are happy feet, as we all know, for some of us who've done way too many hikes in our life. A reusable water bottle. So we will have water, particularly when it's hot out, at most of our sites, most of our activity areas, to make sure everybody stays hydrated. That is the easiest thing for us to have a safety issue or a health issue is dehydration. So we want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. Another thing to bring is a camp chair, which is great to have around the campfire at the end of the night, because there will be free time at the end of the night to build a little fire in your own campsite. We provide plenty of firewood. Trust us, we have more firewood than you will ever need. You do not need to bring your own. Another thing is a hat. Doesn't need to be a wonderful hat like mine or Sean's pith helmet there, but a hat is a great idea. We are outside the whole day. There is no indoor time, my friend. It is outdoors in the sun or the shade or the liquid sunshine. And finally, a flashlight. We recommend that everyone has a flashlight with them in the evening. If scouts are going to have a headlamp, I would recommend having a headlamp that has a red light mode, so that when you click through, it usually has like a high beam and a low beam, and then a red light. And that red light helps everybody else's night vision from going too wacky. When the scouts who will be wearing the headlamp will inevitably look you in the eye and blind you for that moment. So anybody who's ever been on a camp out knows that's a thing that happens all the time. So we try to recommend red light mode per family. So what you should have in the car with you, a tent that's going to hold your whole family, but not for the comfort of everyone around you, not a 12-person tent for 2 people. Let's be respectful of other people's time. Now, we are trying to get everybody into the campsites to keep everybody comfortable. If you're trying to put 20 families into one site and everybody's got a 10-person tent, that ain't gonna work. We're gonna be trying to pivot and get you guys into a different campsite or split you up. Bug spray, big deal, big deal. Bring all the bug spray. Would not recommend aerosol near your tents because you may melt it. Sunscreen, another great idea to have. We again are outside the whole time, and you'll need to have sunscreen multiple applications. We'd also recommend bringing some cash for the trading post. We have had the credit card working in the past, but that is no guarantee. But so bring cash or a credit card. Campfire forks or prongs, something to put marshmallows on and roast over a fire. There are more things that you can bring. I could probably think of about a dozen things that make it easier. I like to bring a cot instead of a sleeping pad because I'm I feel older than I look some days. I like to have multiple hats because I know my hat starts to go a little funky after a day or two. And I would also recommend if you're going to be splashing around the water, that you have, obviously these swim shoes, but if you're going to be wearing like keen sandals that have a hard sole on the front, we've had some parents do that and then regret it later because those are wet and they're wearing them all day. I've done that. It's maybe not the best idea because you will get some blisters. So we would also recommend a first aid kit per campsite. So have your pack bring their pack first aid kit just for little things. We have the medical facility on site, but it's just easier for a band-aid just to do it at your own with your own folks. Brings us to a next one. What should you not bring? Pretty obvious. Or weapons. So firearms, bows, crossbows, arrows, slingshots, sheath knife. That means the knife that you just pull out, not a folding knife like a scout would have. The question of are scouts allowed to have folding knives or multi-tools on camp? Yes, if they have their whittling chip. However, the rest of this, please do not bring it to camp. We have arrows and bows for all that. We have the BB guns. We do not need yours. We appreciate it, but we do not need it. Other things, pretty obvious. Illicit or illegal drugs, alcoholic beverages, fireworks of any kind, pets of any kind. We love our dog too. We just can't have them in camp. Gas generators, most of the campsites have an electrical box, so you will not need to worry about bringing a gas generator. And then loud radios. You are in the great outdoors. Be respectful of everybody else. I don't need to hear the latest hits when I'm camping personally. But we would just recommend just be respectful of others. So let's talk about the official camp bird, plant, and animal. So Camp Betz's official camp plant is the leaves of three, let it be poison ivy. Now our staff does an amazing job of trying to cut it back as far as they can and keep it off the trails. However, if you've ever been around Cub Scouts for more than 5 minutes, you know that trails are somewhat of a suggestion more than anything else. So what I would recommend is you remind your scouts multiple times, please stay on the trail. If you remember me talking about bug spray a second ago, mosquitoes is the official camp bird. They can be brutal sometimes. So we recommend making sure you have your bug spray on at all times. When you get out of waterfront and you're starting to walk back up, that's great to put some bug spray on. You just wash it all off. And finally, the officially unofficial camp animal would be tossed between the raccoons that visit us at night if you leave food out, or ticks. And I bring this up because I work in a construction field. I probably had more safety briefings about ticks in the last year and a half than I previously had in the first 10, 15 years of my career. The ticks, we did not have a hard freeze this year. So the ticks are a little worse than usual. So again, how do we keep the ticks away? We stay on the trails, we wear our bug spray. Ticks are just kind of hanging out in the long grass, looking to grab onto somebody. So if we start to walk into the long grass or into the weeds, whoop, they can just jump on and grab you. Most of the time we can see them right away, pop them right off. We have the medical folks. A lot of us carry tick keys with us just to quickly pop them off. Better just to not deal with it. If this is something that is a concern to you also, I would recommend using permethrin to treat like your shoes or any of your shorts you're wearing that day. However, follow the instructions. I know a lot of that you shouldn't get on your skin. You need to treat it like a day or two in advance outdoors. All right. So this is Camp Betz. This is our lovely map that we love dearly. And I'm going to kind of take you through this. There's a lot on here. So we're going to kind of take you through what are the key things you need to know about. So we're going to start with look at that blue arrow. That blue arrow is where you are driving in. And you're going to drive in, you're going to look to your right, you're going to see the new Ranger house that just was put in over the past year. And you're going to see the big Camp Betz sign. And you're going to keep driving forward and you're going to see one of our staff members. And so when you see him, say, hi, staff. And they're going to tell you to pull into the parking lot and park right in that top yellow circle. Once you park, you're going to walk down the pathway. You'll see some other staff, wave hi. And you're going to go to the Pine Tree Cabin where you're going to see myself or Sean sitting there with her iPad, hopefully tapping away. Oh yeah, or Kevin, I guess. Tapping away, getting people registered. So this Pine Tree Cabin is your first stop when you get here. Don't unpack your car yet. Just go to Pine Tree. You're going to get your camp assignment. You're going to get your camp shirt. You're going to get all the stuff you need to be successful. This is also where we're going to grab your medical form if we don't have it already. So park, come on the Pine Tree, and then you get to go to one of the many campsites. You can see the little tents. Those are all the campsites up from Potawatomi Circle to Chapin Ridge and all the way out to Aspen. Next up, program areas. So our program areas are kind of the north and south here. So at the far north end is our shooting sports. That's where our BB gun range, archery range, and slingshot range are located. We go down to the middle one, right next to Thunderbird, is handicraft. Handicraft is where we're going to be doing any leather working, we'll be doing our woodworking, and adjacent to handicraft is the most beloved spot of all camp, the Gaga Ball Pit. Finally, that bottom blue is we take the pathway down to waterfront. Now, waterfront is a pretty steep path to walk down from the handicraft area down the waterfront. And then that is also where we have our docks for the canoes. And that's where we have waterfront for the folks playing the water. So we have three main gathering areas. Starting up upper right-hand side, Gilwell Field. That is where the flagpole is. That is where we are going to gather for flags, beginning and ending of every day. Where we're going to gather when we go to the fire bowl, which is, you can see directly to the left. Finally, at the bottom is Thunderbird. That is the most important place if you are a purveyor of coffee early in the morning, which is me and all the other camp directors. And that is where we will be having our meals during the camp out. That's where we're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner on Saturday and breakfast on Sunday. That is, you will know Thunderbird by the Thunderbird you see there. Finally, we're going to talk about the facilities. The middle circle is our health lodge. We have usually an EMT or a medical person on site all times during camp to make sure that if there are any issues, we can get them taken care of. The health lodge is either staffed with somebody or you'll have the ability to get help right away. To the northwest of there is Peace Pony. Peace Pony is a wonderful bathroom, warm showers when you need it. The interesting thing is you will see bathrooms that are adults, adult male, adult female, child male, child female. That way we keep YPT throughout the whole process. Now, if we go down to the southwest side, let me adjust my voice. We have Warhorse. Warhorse is a little more rugged. Not only is it one of an older bathroom, you will be sharing it with your friends of the 8-legged variety. Well, hopefully they only have 8 legs. Now, Warhorse is a little different. We don't have youth and adult bathrooms. We have a sign that you have to flip. So generally we just say knock. If you see that the sign says youth, knock, see if there's any youth in there. If there are none, flip the sign and head on in. Be a little more careful there. But from Thunderbird, Warhorse is about a 1.5-minute walk. Peace Pony is about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how fast you're walking.
A quick side note to clarification, Scott, would appreciate everything so far. There is actually a family bathroom at Peace Pony, so if you need to take care of little ones, there's a changing table in there as well. So if there way you can have the ability to take care of any little ones appropriately. All the showers are individual showers. They have locking stall doors. And Warhorse, we do fog, so we do take care of the problem earlier, but it's a little more rustic. Both Peace Pony and Warhorse are flushable toilets, though. There is no pit toilets in camp. We will also be supplying extra porta-johns throughout camp at strategic locations so that you don't have to walk as far. Scott had mentioned like the walking distances from shooting sports to Warhorse at a decent clip is about 10 minutes. Our camp and the map doesn't look that big, or maybe in person with all the tree lines, you can get confused with the distances. We are not a very large camp, which is an advantage because you're not walking 10 minutes, 20 minutes to get somewhere. So we are relatively close by everything. All the campsites, primary campsites, are within a 2 to 5 minute walk of Peace Pony. Plus we'll have some bathrooms near the Health Lodge and the Porta-John variety. So we will make sure that that is available and staffed and cleaned and toilet paper stocked at all times. But if you have any questions, always see a staff member. We can help you guys out with that.
Yep, and we'll make sure that everybody knows about where the bathrooms are during the Friday night briefing. All right, so I'm going to start the weekend schedule and then I'm going to hand it off to Sean. So our weekend schedule starts at 4 o'clock on Friday. Start kind of getting in there. You'll see 2 or 3 people lined up, usually me, to get in there. We'll have check-in from 4:30 to 7. We'll do flags, camp safety and orientation, evening movie. And then you'll notice every night it's quiet time starting at 10 p.m. We say quiet time as that's when we should be asking the scouts to not be running around in the field, not be playing. We're starting to kind of wind the night down, and by 11 o'clock, we're looking for lights out. If some adults are going to be hanging around the fire for a little bit, more power to them, as long as they're kind of quiet about it. But we do ask that they put the fire out, hopefully cold out. Saturday, it is a full schedule. And it might seem like a lot, but it really goes fast. And it goes fast. And as someone who's been there a couple of years, it's a lot of fun. You don't even all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's lunch. Oh, it's dinner. Oh my goodness, it's nighttime. We need to get some s'mores going here. And then Sunday, again, opening flags at 7:30. We're going to go into a little more depth on this with Sean. So I'm going to pass it off to him.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing this evening? Thanks, first of all, for coming to our meeting tonight. We do appreciate it. So what is our schedule like? We do the whole program for you all weekend long. It's something you don't have to worry about. It's basically follow the schedule, and that's it. Remember, all our times are Central Standard Times. So when we say camp opens at 4 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock Central Time. If you get there 4 o'clock Michigan time, you're going to be waiting outside for about an hour before we open up the gates. So Friday night, like I said, is check-in and our campsite setup. Gates open at 4 o'clock. You come on over, like Scott said, you're going to check in over at the Pine Tree Lodge. We'll give you all your information there, tell you where your campsite's at, and then you can get all your gear to your campsite. Can you drive to your campsite? No, you can't. However, we do have wheelbarrows where you can put all your gear into it, wheel them out to your campsite, drop off all your gear, and then please return the wheelbarrows to the parking lot so other people can use them. That evening, then, we're going to have our camp orientation that's going to take place at about 7 o'clock that evening. And what's going to happen is we will talk about camp. Well, first of all, we're going to do a flag ceremony. We're going to have our staff do a flag ceremony for you, so you get to see how a flag ceremony is done. Then we'll do orientation, tell you about the ins and outs of camps, the safety briefing, make sure you use the buddy system, things like that. Then we're also going to have, after that, a movie. We're going to have a movie for you guys over at the Handicraft Lodge. We are going to have popcorn. We're going to have bug juice. Everybody's going to have a lot of fun. The trading post will be open for the first time, so you guys can buy your patches and t-shirts and hats, and we'll have snacks in there as well, too. And that's going to conclude Friday night after the movie, back to your site, quiet time, and then lights out, because Saturday is going to be a long, busy day. Saturday morning, we're going to start at about 7:15 in the morning. We're going to start with our flag ceremony, where our staff is going to put that on again. We ask everyone pays attention to our flag ceremonies, the closing on Friday night and the opening on Saturday morning, because we're going to have the youth. That's right. Usually our Weeblo scouts and some of our older scouts are going to be performing the flag ceremonies. We'll guide you how to do it, but you're going to do our closing flag ceremony Saturday night and Sunday morning. After our flag ceremony, we have a breakfast over at the Thunderbird Dining Hall. It's going to be great food all weekend long. Everybody enjoys it. Nobody goes hungry. Remember, if you do have any dietary restrictions, make sure you let us know what they are ahead of time so we can prepare for you. After breakfast, we're going to start our morning program. Now, as you saw, the program areas are on opposite sides of the camp. We're not going to make you run from one side of the camp to the other side of the camp. If you are in the first half of the morning program, all your activities will take place either at the waterfronts or at the shooting range. The waterfronts will be swimming, it'll be canoeing, and then it's going to be to the handicraft area, which is just a 2-minute walk up the hill. If you're going to be at the shooting ranges, you're going to be at the BB range, you're going to be at the archery range, and you're going to be at our new slingshot range. Those are your areas for the morning, or one or the other for the morning. After that, we're going to break to lunch. And then after lunch, we're going to start our afternoon program, where you're going to flip-flop. If you are at the waterfront in the morning, you're at the ranges in the afternoon, and vice versa for the ranges back to the waterfront. After that, we're going to give you a little downtime to get ready for dinner. Dinner is a great time. We have a lot of great food again. And then from there, we're going to go prepare for our closing flag ceremony and our campfire. The scouts, like I said, will do our closing flag ceremony. And as you see from the photos there, we will guide them on how to do it. From there, we're led to our campfire where our staff will be putting on the campfire. However, we're going to ask you guys in your packs to put on a skit or song for us as well. So prepare for that. You come bring with songs that you like, skits that you like, something that'll get everybody involved as well. Just one request.
Can I do invisible bench?
That's what I was about to say. One request, please. No invisible bench. If you don't know what invisible bench is, thank you. Good for you. If you know what invisible bench is, no. We've seen it done too many times.
Sean, can you make a point to just remind folks that when are they going to be wearing their standard blue or beige shirts?
All right. So we ask scout uniforms to be worn basically at dinners. So for the Saturday night dinner and for the closing flag ceremony, we're going to give you t-shirts for camp to wear all day Saturday. You can wear those at opening flags and then wear them all day long for your program and lunch. This also is a safety feature because now we know who's supposed to be in camp. They're all going to be wearing the same colored t-shirts. If we see somebody in camp not wearing that t-shirt, we know they're not supposed to be there and we will question them and find out what's going on. We want to make sure everybody is safe. So in the evening, we're going to have a closing flag ceremony and then on to our campfire, which we're going to do and you guys are going to prepare. It's going to be a lot of fun. After that, you guys go back to your site for the evening. We're going to give you some treats. You can do s'mores around the campfire. We've seen other packs come in and they kind of bring in some of their own snacks and things. You guys can do whatever you'd like, but it's your rest of the evening is up to you. And that's it for Saturday. Trust me, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be an exhausting day, but it's going to be a fun day.
If you're hold on, Sean, I can tell you from experience, your scouts will probably not go to sleep so quickly on Friday night because it's still exciting, but they will drop like flies on Saturday. By 10 o'clock, they're gonna be begging to go to bed.
Now, Sunday morning, real short program for the day. We're gonna have our opening morning flag ceremony, again, performed by the scouts in the camp. We're gonna have a breakfast. Darlene, our cook, makes the best biscuits and gravy and cinnamon buns. So it's a nice way to start the day. And then we're going to have a Vesper service. A Vesper service is basically a non-denominational prayer service that we have at the chapel at camp. Everybody is invited. It's really a great experience. And it's a beautiful location in camp too, overlooking the lovely Lake Chapin. After that, break down camp, pack up, head home, and then enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Once again, thank you, Sean. Just before we go to the next stuff, a couple quick clarifications on the time of check-in. Our program is open from 4 o'clock to check in until we leave on Sunday morning. If for some reason travel arrangements are not conductive, we do know that some north side people have to go around the city of Chicago. We suggest that you get there before 7. We'll have someone manning the check-in station during the movie, during the time that we are doing flags. You can check in essentially as late as about 10 o'clock at night, essentially. We wouldn't want you guys after quiet time trying to set up tents in a campsite while people are trying to sleep. So essentially until 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time is the latest check-in. If something goes wrong or you just know you can't make it Friday night, please arrive as early as 6:30 on Saturday. We can check you in, get you guys set up in time for our flag ceremony that starts at 7:15. So late arrival on Saturday morning is also an option. We don't want you to miss camp because of some travel issues on Friday. We'd much rather see you safe and sound on Saturday morning if that's the case. Conversely, if something is going on and you have commitments, you may need to leave a little earlier on Sunday morning or possibly Saturday night. We would love for you guys to stay through our campfire service. It's a really integral part of our program. But we do ask that if you do leave early, you need to check out with us. We do need to know who's in camp at all times in case something happens, an emergency weather situation. Once you check in, we need to know you get checked out. Until we release you after Vespers, when everyone can pack up and go home, I do need to know if you're leaving a little earlier than that, okay? This last thing, though, is as we mentioned, class show up on Friday. We'll give you a t-shirt to wear on Saturday. If you have them, it's not required to go buy one, but if you have your class A's that still fit, because the kids grow up quickly, bring them to camp for our dinner meal, our campfire, and our Sunday morning service. Other than that, you can wear comfortable clothes appropriate for the camp. Those are my notes. Thank you.
All right, so program rotation. we're going to break up into 3 different areas, each section of the day, morning and afternoon. In the morning, you'll start, or depending on which group you're in, one group will start at the waterfronts. They'll have swimming. We're going to have boating. Now you're saying boating, my kids don't know how to swim, or they've never been in a canoe before. They might tip over. You're afraid what's going to happen. Don't worry about it. What we do is we take our canoes, we lash them together so they become pontoon boats. And now they won't sink or tip over. They're fantastic. It's real safe, and we can get a lot of people in them. After that, then the other section you're going to have is our handicraft area. In our handicraft area, we're going to be doing some woodworking with you guys. But for any of you scouts that have never been to camp before, we are going to provide you.
Oh, you're going to ruin a surprise.
Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to provide you with the hiking stave. The reason I do want to bring this up, though, is because if you've already come to Camp Betz, bring your hiking stave. You will need it, because we're going to have you do another embellishment onto the stave so you can show every year that you've been at Camp Betz. So if you already have the stave, bring it. If it's your first year, we will present one to you. Now, for the other part of the program, next slide, there we go. The other part of the program, we have the shooting sports area where we're going to have archery, BBs, and slingshots. We have registered instructors on those areas. They will be giving instruction. If you've never shot a BB gun before, if you've never shot a bow and arrow before, if you've never shot a slingshot before, they will teach you on how to do it. They'll teach you all about the safety of it. And then you get plenty of time to start shooting and have a lot of fun. In fact, we have so much time and so much fun that we actually invite the adults to do it as well with their kids. So everyone's going to get a chance to do it. And then, like I said, in the evening, our campfire program. Camp Betz has a lovely campfire bowl, and it's a beautiful area. We got a nice big stage. We ask everyone goes up on stage through the ramp area right there that you can see on the photo. That's the only way. We don't want you hopping over anything on the sides or other front. As you can see on that other photo, lots of seating areas. So everybody comes down. We have a great time. We have songs. We have skits. You get to see some talents from scouts you never knew that they could sing. Some scouts you never want to hear them sing ever again. Some leaders you never want to hear sing ever again.
Some camp directors.
But it's a program that we have. It's about an hour long. We have campfires going. It's a great time. It's a great fellowship time. And then from there, we'll dismiss you back to your campsites where you can have your own campfires in your own sites. And like Scott mentioned earlier, there is a ton of firewood at each site. I'll set up for you guys. So all you got to do is just start your own fires.
In the approved campfire rings, by the way.
Please, yes.
There will be buckets provided. There are water spigots within walking distance of every campsite. We do ask that, once again, you follow the outdoor code. Be careful with fire. That if you do have a fire, that the buckets are filled. We do come by and visit. We will be checking. So we just had I didn't realize we didn't have our phone numbers on this. I will type mine in the chat. I'm not sure if Scott and Sean, you can. Someone wanted to know if they needed to get a hold of us. It's also listed on our event page when you actually signed up for camp through the website, and the calendar. Our phone numbers are listed, but I'm going to put mine in the chat right now. But there's also that email at the bottom there. So sorry, I thought we had numbers on there.
And
So,
if you haven't seen our parent guide yet, you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to the parent guide, which goes over a lot of what we talked about today, but in the PDF form that you can print out and keep with you, or have some light reading if you got to take the train to the city or whatever it takes. There it is. Well, sort of. Okay. So now we get to any questions. We know there was a lot of information. It may seem overwhelming.
hey,
It's not that bad. Trust us. Seriously, it's not that bad. Once you get to camp, everything makes sense, and it's just a great time. So if you do think of something later, please email us with your questions at ptech.betz.familygamp@gmail.com.
There was one question asked in the chat that we said we addressed at the end. We talked about some dietary concerns. Obviously, filling in your health forms are very important, but also the registration. If you individually registered, you would have seen that there's an area for any type of dietary restrictions or allergies that we asked you to fill in. Unfortunately, not all packs that register as a group are diligent. So if there is a concern that you have about letting us know that you have or your child has a nut allergy or something like that, please feel free to use that ptech.betz.familycamp, all one word, @gmail.com email. We do coordinate with our food service. Our lovely Darlene does the cooking for us. She lives at camp most of the summer. And that's not a joke. She's up there every weekend for a lot of different things. She's a volunteer just like us, but safe serve, food trained, and an excellent cook. And I eat better at her camp on the weekends than I do at summer camps, oftentimes with my Boy Scouts. So, but we do go over anything that we know ahead of time, anything in the registration on what restrictions are. We make every accommodation that we can possibly make. So generally speaking, if there's a nut allergy that weekend, we avoid the nuts. I don't know, we do clean our grills regularly, but I can't necessarily guarantee you that every surface is nut free necessarily. So if it is a severe anaphylactic issue, please let us know ahead of time through this email to double check. But generally speaking, we have offerings of multiple different types. So if you're dairy averse, we're going to have something that's not dairy. If you're if there is, we tend to offer non-gluten options when available. We limit that because it is more expensive, but if there is that actually I can't pronounce it. The actual disease. Celiac, yes. Noted on there, we do have options for that, but we also not only provide gluten-free bread options, but there's several courses for each meal. So there's always something that you guys can find to snack on and eat to get through the meals. If the kid is a little bit more, let's say, selective, so there's always something on the side, the neat dessert. If there's something you guys think your child really needs, you are welcome to bring it. But part of this experience is encouraging them to try new things. But never, a scout is also prepared. So maybe as a parent, you have a couple of their favorite snacks in your back pocket if something just doesn't fit with them, or they're just tired and they're not having a good time. We don't want them hungry and hangry the rest of the day. But we provide many options at meals. No one should go hungry. So if there's any other questions, I do believe we had everyone muted upon entry. You can either type it in the chat or feel free to unmute and give us a question. Well, we do have 19 people left. So we had 22 at one point in time. We lost a couple maybe. All three of us here are directors. We're volunteers. We were all once in your same shoes. Every single one of us was up to camp for the first time, not knowing what a Betz was or where a Thunderbird or a Peace Pony is. The good news is we've grown in not only our size, but also our staff complements. You've seen some very nice pictures. Most of our kids who are volunteers as youth staff were once also participants in the camp, and they're doing their good turn by coming out and helping the next generation love going outdoors and love camping. And we hope you guys have a great time with it too. We are rain or shine. So if it is calling for a little bit more of inclement weather, we will still be having program. We do have alternate plans in case it is inclement weather, but we cross our fingers and pray to the rain gods that we have a good weekend. And we've been, knock on wood, pretty good for the last 7 or 8 years I've been doing this. So
you had to say it out loud.
Yeah, well, obviously any last minute emergencies or things like that of a nature that there has to be like a medical emergency or something, the request in writing portion of our policy at PTAC for cancellations involves sending it in writing, emailing us at that email address, ptac.betz.familycamp, and letting us know if there's an emergency came up. We can also go through that process. We do want everyone to be safe and at camp, and if something's not right with the family, you guys got to stay home for some reason, we much rather you guys take care of that than have to struggle. If some cases, sometimes mom or dad or siblings don't come for the weekend, that's fine. We would love to see you out. Like I said, if there's an emergency, send us an email and we can work on that way. Other than that, we expect to see you guys at camp. We appreciate it. Any other questions, let us know. Oh, here we go. Oh, volunteering. For any siblings, go up to 16 essentially, and you can bring adults or siblings that are over 16 as an adult as well. So they're welcome to be participants and participate in activities. If you've already registered and paid for him, we appreciate that. It's great. Go ahead and do it. Oftentimes, if there's sons or Boy Scouts or Scout BSA levels that want to, or daughters in that same program that want to come help us out, we generally take staff officially at 14 and over because we know they're a little bit more mature. That 11 to 12, 13-year-old range, we kind of have like a junior program. If he wants to help out and kind of be on staff with us, we can do is talk with us when if he's registered already, talk with us when you arrive. We might be able to give him a staff complimentary shirt and he can help us out, but be with you guys as I'm doing the air quotes here, as a guide. So basically he can be in this case, I'm saying his son or daughter, but the particular question was for son, can be a group guide and basically participate with you, but then come on staff line, help us with our flags, do skits with us, and get excited because that most of my older youth staff were once junior staff as well. So that is an option. Next time, though, if there's any other non-registered siblings that would like to help out that are Scouts BSA, we do offer service hours for coming up to camp and helping. There is a event on August 6th, the day after camp is done. We had to do that for a reason. There is a staff sign up that is just like when you did a participant sign up, but the good news is there's no cost to that. So if he's registered and coming with you, talk to us. If he wants to do it the day of on Friday, we'll give him a staff shirt and have him hang with us. But during the program times, he'll be with you, and for the night he can be with you. But for staff events, he can be with us. But next, if there's any other people still interested and are still interested in getting service hours that have not registered, look at that August 6th date and you can see a staff sign up. Parents, if you love camp and you know what, you're free the next weekend, we can always use some adult help as well. My assistant scoutmaster in my troop who's taking over for me came back one time and helped us the week after at Waterfront because we needed it. So that's same staff registration is available as well. Share it with the troops if you have a older sibling in a troop. We're always looking for help. This only runs because of the volunteers, and it's only good because we like to be there and we have fun, but we're always looking for that help.
All right, well, I think that's about it of questions. Anybody else?
Are parents monitoring the entire time or participating as well? Well, in our shooting areas, we'd like you to monitor your children while waiting for the turn. The priority is to giving them access. They paid a little bit more than the adults to show up. Usually our shooting sports are really good at getting people trained, safetied on the line. Sometimes they need to maybe, if you guys would offer to help your child during those shooting sports events, as long as the range masters allow it, that's acceptable. They usually do a rotation where you guys get to shoot it. Sean mentioned that oftentimes the parents can take a couple pot shots as well, but the primary focus is on having the youth experience it, but we let mom and dad sneak in for a few shots as well, bearing the rotation and making sure everyone has a fair chance. In the other areas like Waterfront, we do ask the buddy system be maintained. The buddy can be your parent, the buddy can be another scout at the water. We would like you down there watching your children. An extra set of eyes never hurts. We have lifeguard staff certified by BSA or Red Cross. We have watchers on staff, but an extra pair of eyes never hurts. We do ask that if you are physically available, that you would actually participate in the canoeing, because usually the adults paddle and the kids have fun bilging out the water. I'm not saying we use squirt guns because you can't use squirt guns in scouting, but we may have water removal devices. How about that? That may end up putting water in other people's boats. It's a fun time, but we do ask that you participate in that. And then the handicraft, extra set of hands for the wood project never hurts. My thumbs can only get banged so many times over the course of 5 weekends. But having parents help out with that's always fun. So usually speaking, it is a good idea, and it's also fun to participate with your children during this weekend. No problem. Any last minute chat items? If not, we once again, Kevin Reynos, one of the admin directors, Mr. Scott Board over there, who is new to us this year. He was once a participant and actually coming back as one. Your pack's coming back again this year, right?
All 70 of us, yes.
Yeah. I think they have the largest complement, but then again, he is also director now, so that should be the case. And then Mr. Sean McQuaid as well. We had Miss Amy Hutcherson on, our professional, earlier, but she had a anniversary date to get to tonight. But you know, if you have any questions, let us know through the phone or the email, and we'll get back to you within a business day. If not, we look forward to seeing everyone out in the next couple weeks.
First session starts in 1 month, 30 days.
Oh, good Lord, we got a lot to do.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome, guys. Have a great night.
All right.
See
We
you at camp.
will.
All right. You want to stop recording?
Yeah, I'm trying to find that option. There is the stop sharing option. Where is the stop recording option? There you go. Pause, stop recording.